So if you do this type of syntax, what I was saying, with an arrow function, it looks as though you're returning an object, but what you're actually doing is creating a block, and then you're labeling the expression of the string bar. It's breaking syntax to the way that JavaScript works. So this is one of my things, is that JavaScript as a language has a lot of benefits, and everybody's just throwing the baby out with the bathwater the whole time. Oh, sorry, y'all. I got so fancy. I'm just gonna go back all the way and just kind of re-explain that real quick. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. So in JavaScript, you can have a label. So foo is a label, and then let's see, can I do this? So I could label this statement console.log as foo, and then I was saying that you can also label a for loop. I was saying that goto is not implemented, but it's a reserved word, so you could do a loop with goto hypothetically, although it's not been implemented. But you can label a for loop like this, and then you can break on the label foo, and then you can have another loop, and then you could either break on foo or bar. So you could have one loop labeled foo and one loop labeled bar, and then you could break the label that you intend, or the loop that you intend to break. So this is how you break out of nested loops. Whereas if you use .sum to break out of a nested loop, you just do .sum instead of .for each, and then you return true, and it'll break out that way. Okay, so then this is considered to be a block in JavaScript. This is not an object literal. And the reason it's not an object literal is because there's no variable on the other side to capture it as an expression. Okay, and there's no semicolon to let it know it's an expression. So it's being considered as a block. This is one of the reasons that you should always use semicolons, because there's weird cases where objects are considered blocks rather than objects. But if you make sure to put a semicolon, then you're not going to be plagued by that, hopefully, mostly, I don't know. So you can have an arbitrary nesting of blocks. And if you do that, you can put a label inside of a block, and then you can put an expression on the right side of the label. So this whole thing will do absolutely nothing. There's nothing that it does. All right. And so that does nothing. It's the exact same thing as this. Both of them do nothing. They both only create a string, and then it gets thrown away, right? So that was my thing. So if you do this type of syntax, what I was saying, with an arrow function, it looks as though you're returning an object, but what you're actually doing is creating a block, and then you're labeling the expression of the string bar. And then I don't know what this does. If you put it all in one single line, I don't know what it does. But if you surround it in parens, then you cause it to evaluate as an object. And that's what happens. So that was the whole thing that I said, just redone.